dropping only one game, and then they're also a strong contender in this group and a favorite to win the whole thing. And then lastly, our last group in Team Group A, Team TD Aftermath, somewhat a little bit also of an underdog, same thing with Team Kitchen. Their league, Elemental, is also perceived to be a bit of a weaker league, but that does not discount them. They dominated the Elemental League and defeated the former champs of the ELBBU and ended the miracle run by Project Iconic in a 3-1 finals bout. So, being in Group A is somewhat of a little bit of boon for them because you never know. These are best of ones, not best of threes that a lot of people are typically used to playing. So anything can happen. And yeah, it might give them the opportunity to escape the group.
Yeah, I think like the expectation is that some of the teams from some of the more well known or the more populated leagues might
Hmm.
have the opportunity and the advantage because they've played against more players in order to get to their position.
Yeah.
Players that are in Runeterra Academy, I mean, they are pretty strong, and there's a lot of players that are coming in with a lot of experience, but I think in gold, you can't count out any team because any player on any day can have a good day or a bad day. And you have to be able to maintain that consistency. What I'm really looking for from all of these champions, like let's be real here. Every single one of these teams, regardless of what organization or what league they came from, they're champions already. They got here
Yep.
because they were the best of the best. But today, we're coming into a new patch. We're coming
Yeah.
into a
Oh yeah.
whole new
Durability
format.
patch.
Yep, we're coming into a whole new format, and I've been saying this all week for the leagues that I've been casting. I'm really looking to see these teams focus on their fundamentals, focus on their macro play, and make sure that their communication is on point. If you have those secret sauces available, you're going to be able to potentially beat teams that you wouldn't expect to beat in 12.9.
Top 10. Yeah.
Yeah.
12.10 for sure. Yeah.
Hmm.
12.10.
Yeah,
I
well,
thought
yeah. Back in 12.9, it was a different story, but now in 12.10, it's a whole new game. So.
it really is like the meta has shifted drastically with this durability patch. So it's very exciting to see what some of these teams are pulled out. I've heard Ola Top is disgusting.
Yep.
From what I've seen and heard and played against, it's very difficult champion to deal with. Starting to see Swain as well, so it's very interesting to see how these teams will maneuver their way through this new patch. Now that, especially, it's been about a week now since it's been out, right? So they've had some time to adjust to it and play with it, play around with it, and whatnot.
Hmm.
I'm just thankful the Scion prio has gone way down between the Hullbreaker changes and the Scion specific nerfs.
Oh boy. I'm sensing some negative emotions against Scion. Are you a top laner, Jeeves?
Oh, I used to be. I abandoned it for the jungle.
Hey, I know the feeling. I'm an ADC main, but I'm currently using mid lane to climb, and with my secondary role being jungle because, yeah, prior to 12.10, being an ADC was not that fun.
No,
But
Yeah.
I'm 28, so I'm way past me being able to play ADC. I don't have the hands for that anymore. So
all you gotta do is just click A and watch your positioning. That right? Like that's all they say.
that's too many letters. Too much. Too much going on. I can barely keep track of my jungle timers.
Oh my goodness. But let's move on forward or about tonight's match. So tonight's match we have Team Kitchen against Team CB Ibiza. What are our thoughts about these two teams for our first match for the night? Just looking at those rosters and you know what we know so far or don't know. So, hey, there's no pressure to cast a curse anyone just yet because you haven't seen anything, especially if you don't know these teams. Once again, Team Chef or Team Kitchen is from Risen. CB Ibiza is from RA.
I'm
Well,
curious. Well,
no, you go
uh,
ahead. You go ahead.
I'm curious to see because I feel like Ibisa. The big question is usually Chitin, and going through the BOL season, he was playing stuff like Garen
Mm.
heavily through the playoffs, but then brought out picks like Swain, Zerath. I've seen him play Rakan mid, Alistar mid. Um,
Wow.
I
Those are some interesting picks.
yeah, Uh,
Did he
I
win on
don't.
those picks?
Yeah, most of those he was very successful on. Like the Garen was consistent throughout playoffs and won them a lot of games. And he went
Okay.
multiple builds. Like he would go Stride Breaker with Phase Rush. He would go full crit with Gale Force
Full
and
crit
First
Garen?
Strike, and it was nutty. But it was like a situational build thing, and it worked.
Oh my goodness, I love it. Oh
Yeah.
man, and
So
that's
I'm
the
really
best thing
curious.
about this, right? Like, as much as all these players are, a part of the same elo, because it's a best of one, and you don't know who they are. I mean, you don't play against them. They come from a different league. You don't play against them consistently. I know some players play in multiple leagues, but like you don't know what you're getting into. You don't know what's gonna happen. So that unknown is just. I hope you've done your research, basically.
All right.
Yeah.
Listen here, guys. I am super conflicted because not only do I get to cast Rivered, who is one of my biggest supporters, one of my favorite players in the gold level rosters, but we also have to go up against the Church of Dilly over on CB Ibiza. Um, it's Dilly has really popped off the last couple of times that I've been able to cast for him, and Singular Bread as well. I had the opportunity to be able to cast for Singular Bread in some scouting grounds opportunities. So, like, I have all of these players that I've talked with before that, have rooted me on in my casting career. And now I get to
Mhm.
watch them play against each other in this first game. And I feel so conflicted. I don't know if I'm going to be able to have a prediction. I'm so sad because if I choose CB Ibiza, I'm gonna like break Rivard's heart. But if I choose Kitchen,
Mhm.
the Church of Dilly is gonna come after me, and I'm not gonna get my tithe for the week. But definitely like beware of the Church of Dilly. I'm just gonna say that because it is here to stay. It is quite scary.
All righty. Well, so so that is a endorsement for Ibiza then, yes?
I'm not gonna say that. I'm
Well,
gonna remain.
we're heading into predictions. It's a best of one, so I need you to commit.
uh Oh man, I think that CB Ibiza has it in. I think CB Ibiza has it. I think they do.
Okay. So CB Ibiza for Moose. Jeeves, what about you?
I and it might just be purely from lack of knowledge. I don't know as much about the players on
Hmm.
Kitchen, but I see Ibiza on the Rift, and I kind of trust that team. I think it's gonna go to Ibiza.
Oh, you also think it's gonna go to Ibiza? Okay. All right. That's fine. That's fine. I I'm gonna go with Team Kitchen. It's a thing I like to do sometimes. I like to go against my casters, and because I have no
Mhm.
loyalty or knowledge of any of these teams, I'm gonna go with
Nice.
the Meme and Dream team. Meme and Dream. You just can't. Who comes up with rhymes like that? Plus, I wish I had given this production in time, but Ziggy sent me um a picture of their roster, and because they're Team Kitchen, he had everyone on their roster in one of the like kitchen-esque skins. There was a Kali, Chef Tom
uh,
Kench, and a
Cute.
few other ones. Yeah, so they really are going with the kitchen theme. They've actually played it too, like those skin lines in game. So who knows? Maybe they busted out here for game one. Anything is possible.
Now, before we get into the actual game,
Hmm.
one thing that I like to do every single game is I like to get the 1 in 5 Dragon Rift predictions from my
Okay.
co-casters. I
Okay.
I want to
Early.
know I want to know how clairvoyant you guys are, because then we can trust you if you're correct after this game. But what do you guys think is going to be the Dragon Rift for game 1?
This isn't fair because I don't even get to see where the first two Drakes being
Nope.
taken.
Absolutely not. 1 in 5 chance that you're right, redacted.
You know what? I'm going with Cloud.
Cloud, interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
Damn, that was gonna be my guess.
You can guess
Uh,
it too, Jeeves. Like I can share.
Yeah.
no,
Do it.
I think I'm gonna guess Ocean.
Okay.
Ocean?
Yep.
Okay. Because we're all because we're all here and we're all having a good time
And think
and
about it,
it's
we're all Hawaii beach
we
themed.
are
I went with
all
Yeah.
Cloud for the win.
yep.
He went with
And
Ocean.
I'll go Infernal for the
And for the Heat.
for the heat, for the plays that will be erupting from both of these teams.
Oh
I
yeah,
like it.
absolutely. It's yeah. I expect to see a lot of violence coming out from these teams. I mean, it's just, if you don't
Mhm.
fight, are you actually playing the game correctly?
Yes.
Right? Like, come on, in the amateur scene, if you don't fight, you're trolling. Like, let's be real.
Absolutely.
Yeah. You know what? What does Wukong say? If you don't fight, you can't make friends.
Oh, does he really? I did
Yep.
not know
And
Wukong says that.
that's what we're here for. We're here to fight and make friends. So that's the goal. But I mean, we're also here to see some great plays and see one of these teams take it to the top. Um, it's
Yeah.
gonna be just such a great beginning to the group stage, and I'm very excited to like kind of get the feel, kind of get the feel of how these teams are gonna be playing throughout this first day.
I am too. And since we still have some more time before draft, I figured we could get a bit more, we could run it back a little bit more into the meta since,
Hmm.
once again, this is real. I don't think it's really been felt yet, like, it's not really understood just yet how much this patch has really affected the game and like changed it because, as an ADC, ADCs aren't getting one shot too much anymore by assassins who were like 5-1-6. So what do
Hmm.
you guys think of how this patch will really affect these teams and affect the game? What picks do you think we might see actually from both sides?
I know the jungle meta hasn't shaken up that much. I'm
Right.
curious to see because they did just put in a hot fix too to
Did they?
revert some of the changes. I know Diana got buffs, Talia got nerfs.
Yes. Yes. Oh, both of them, yes. Talia was way too strong. Oh my
Yeah,
god. Oh my god.
Aaliyah too
yeah.
weak actually needs to get buffed more. Listen, I'm
Like
a
I love playing her, but I was one tricking Vex at the time, and someone played Talia mid, and she never ran out of mana. It was disgusting.
as as a Talia one trick for 2 seasons, I'm very happy
Ooh.
with the changes. Not happy with these little past nerfs, but I'm actually really enjoying it. I expect we are going to see some Talia gameplay today, either picked or banned.
Mhm.
Um, I think a bottom lane champion that has been performing very well has been Xayah. I
Yep.
Yeah.
think that Zaya has been a huge beneficiary of getting just a little bit hardier and able to play in those 2v1s a lot better. I was playing the Victorious Triumph series, casting that yesterday, and there was a Zaya that was able to beat out a Galio, a Galio and the ADC, and a Vayne in the bottom lane.
Zaya
Um,
beat Vayne and Galio.
yeah, Zaya beat the Vayne and Galio in a tower dive because the towers now deal more damage as well. So,
Ooh,
Oh
like,
yeah,
true.
that's right.
it I think that Zaya is a really, really strong pick in the bottom lane. Jungle wise, though,
Hmm.
definitely like it is still kind of up in the air. There is still a lot of opportunity for some different champions, but Wukong is really strong. I'm
Yep.
seeing that, on Singular Bread's list, I'm seeing him play a lot of Shyvana, so we might be seeing that come through.
Hmm.
And I think I mean I don't know how Shyvana's going to play in 12.10 because it is still so young, but definitely expect to see some of those like bruisery, maybe even some tank champions there in the jungle lane.
I have been abusing Shyvana in the last day, and yeah, she is strong. She's feeling real good right now.
So you saying Tank Shyvana is really a viable thing again?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Okay.
The Frostfire Gauntlet into Demonic, and the
Hmm.
damage feels impactful. Even if you build just full tank after that, her
Hmm.
base values and the AP scaling she gets off of that tank build feels really satisfying.
Mm.
Okay, cool, cool,
I'll
cool.
have to play it when Talia gets banned. I'll do it. I promise I will.
When Talia gets banned. What about what about our top lane picks? What do you think we'll see in the top lane? Is it still do we think we'll still see a lot of weak side top laners, tank top laners? Do we think carry tops will come back? Mages?
I have been
Ugh.
seeing a lot of Gangplank.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah.
100%.
Yep.
Um, had a pentakill yesterday with Gangplank as well. So you know how
Ooh.
strong Gangplank has become. The barrels, literally from half HP, literally from half HP, Nautilus gets chunked by a barrel and gets basically two shot by a singular barrel. It's insane what a fed Gangplank can do, and even a
Yep.
non-fed Gangplank, one that gets targeted in the early game still can put in that power. So if any of these top laners have that at their disposal,
Mhm.
absolutely have to use it.
Alrighty. Well, and it looks like here we are ready for draft. So Moose, Jeeves, I'm going to hand it off to you. We already got our predictions. Good
Yep.
luck, and let's get into this draft of game one of Gold Amateur Worlds. See you soon on the other side.
Oh, thank you so much, Redacted. Okay, Jeeves, we are live and we are ready. Kitchen gonna be over on the blue side. CB Ibiza gonna be over on the red, and we are starting off with some jungle and topside bands with some supports as well. Kale, Seraphine, blue J4, Jeeves.
Yeah, the Seraphine is a common ban against at least the Ibiza I saw because the flexibility Chitin has played it a handful of games at least in league play, so that's a good ban. Stena I really like as a ban too because it removes a lot of the flexibility in bot lane.
Mm-hmm. Indeed, I think the Senna TK is there and could be something that either Dilly or River Decay decide to go for if they want to take that available. But because of that, there are some pretty strong options that are still available to get picked, and the Wukong is one of them. That zone
Yep.
control and that disruption going to be available, countered potentially by Singular Bread's Volibear.
And both of those are flexible still. I think
Mm.
Wukong's more flexible than Volibear. It's been a while since I've seen a Voli go top, but the jungle is so strong for enabling just simple ganks starting even level 3. But the level 6 power spike is huge, and it's a really impactful champ that can just stat check its way across the map if he gets ahead.
Mm-hmm. And does have some early game potential to combat what the Wukong can do,
Yep.
especially at level 6. If you time the Stormbringer correctly, you can avoid the Cyclone and then take out the Wukong before you can really deal a lot of damage. And that's going to be very important for CB Ibiza to be able to make that happen. But for the Church of Dilly, we've got Tristana locked in. That is one of his premier picks, going to be available here in game one. As Chef, they're locking in more of this lockdown CC. The Ari going to be picked up here for Chef.
I really like the prio picks that Chef has gotten, at least for a patch ago. These picks would have all been like highly contested. Like Ari got first picked a ton blue side at MSI. uh Ari super strong. Like just because the durability is up a little bit doesn't mean the prio on that champion has gone down. Like I think she's still really good. And Kaisa is a strong champ.
Yeah, I really like what Chef is building. It's very mobile, very agile, and CB Ibiza is playing somewhat differently here. They are building a little bit more backline artillery with the Tristana and the Xerath. I really, really like the Xerath pick from Ibiza because you get the push in with your kit just automatically, and it really forces Chef and Kitchen to make a decision of whether or not they want to have the Ari roam to one of these side lanes. ZZ5 is going to have his work cut out for him.
I was wondering if they were gonna save the mid lane pick for a little bit later, because Chitin does play a bunch of Tristana. I've seen that pick a couple times,
Mhm.
but them going for the Xerath, like I know that's a comfort pick for him. It's interesting that they lay their cards out on the table like that, and I'm curious what they're gonna save the last pick counter for.
I mean, so far it does look like some of the top lane juggernauts have been banned out. The Gnar, a very flexible option, is not going to be available. Nor is the Mordekaiser that has been making a little bit of an appearance here in 12.10. Leona is going to get locked out. That is a pretty strong support pick that can pair well with the Kaisa here. They're not going to get it, nor are they going to get the other hook support champion. The Titan of the Depths, Nautilus, is going to be the R4 for CBI.
Man, and I like the Ornn ban. It's such a strong pick right now at like all levels of play. The Ornn pick feels so good right now, and it would do so much of what Ibiza is looking for. But the Nautilus is crazy strong. Like any of these deceptive mobile picks, like the Wukong, the Ari, the Kaisa, as soon as the depth charge goes out, like they are going to be locked down, and Ibiza can pile on. So I think that's a really good pick for them.
I am really excited for what Kitchen is bringing. Frexy is going to be playing as the Rel, who has not been seen at all in season 12. They're going to pair it with even more disruption. The Malphite is going to get locked in. You are looking for the 5-man death ball wombo combo lineup here for Kitchen that is going to look to get to that back line and has the opportunity to make it happen now.
That's such a fun comp that Jeff has. Like legit, the Malphite ult into the Cyclone into the Magnet Storm. Like I really hope they get that coordination and we see that team fight happen because that's so cool.
It's going to be a really, really rough battle, I think, for both of these teams. I think the strengths of Kitchen are indeed there. They do have that wombo combo. They've also got a lot of mobility on their lineup as well to
Yep.
try to get away from the unleashed power that Xerath is going to provide. Tristana is going to have to play very strong. Dilly is going to have to make sure that she's using Buster Shot correctly, that he is able to get that rocket jump into the best position so that he can remain safe. But if they're able to do it, the damage output from what Chitin and Dilly can bring to the table is absolutely absurd.
Yeah, the Xerath pick for Chitin, like when I play Xerath, it doesn't do those things. The amount of damage that champ outputs is feels unfair. I worry a bit for Ibiza if Dilly and Chitin don't get ahead, that they're gonna be a bit lacking in damage with the Volley Nautilus Scion, as opposed to Chef that has a more balanced damage output, I think. Um, but it's also the heavy tanks. There's not a lot of targets for Chef to try to pick off, whether it's the Ari Charm or the Wukong going in. Like if they
Mm-hmm.
can't manage to get the Tristana or the Xerath, they're gonna have a tough time.
Yeah, I think for Chef, ZZ5's kit is going to be basically relying on being able to stay safe and maybe using the charm as as an individual peeling tool for themselves to avoid potentially getting locked down by what Aerocross and Kobita can bring to the table. And it's going to be really relying on, I think, Frexy to be able to get a good Magnet Storm, Hydrumate to be able to get a good Unstoppable Force, or for Ziggy to be able to get that clone into the Nimbus Strike, into the Cyclone, to be able to get to the back line and use that correctly to be able to get the CC locked down so that River can feel comfortable to go in with that killer instinct and finish the job. If you can't get to that back line, if Dilly and Chitin are able to somehow stay safe, CB Ibiza is going to have a really, really good game for them, especially the longer that this game goes on. I think they scale really, really nicely into the mid to late game.
Yeah, for sure. The late game especially, I think Ibiza, if the game goes long, I think Ibiza has the better comp overall, and that is a little bit pending what build Scion goes, because I've seen more Prowler's Claw
Oh
Scion
my
than
god,
I would have
yeah.
thought in recent days. But yeah, they scale super well, and I
Mhm.
think they scale a bit better than Chef, where the Ari and the Wukong fall off a bit. But Kaisa's still strong. Kaisa can still, like, if Kaisa gets ahead, she can melt through anyone. Uh, but it's, yeah, that's going to be interesting.
It's going to be indeed interesting for sure. And I think, for the side of Chef and for Kitchen, it's the opportunity to be able to, show us what they can bring it to the table here and how 12.10 has given them the advantages and what opportunities they have in terms of what they can come through. It's going to be a really, really fun, really, really exciting first game. And I'm very excited for all and both of the drafts that we have. I think both of them have a really good balance, and it's all going to come down to that execution. While we're still getting into the draft, it looks like both of these teams, we're still waiting to actually get into the in-game client draft for this. So we can talk a little bit more about, what it is that we're expecting early game wise from both of these teams. Is there anything that CB Ibiza needs to do in order to get them off the right path? Like, what's your expectation there, Jeeves?
I think Chef's going to be looking for more skirmishes in the early game. I think their comp shines a lot more, um, especially if they can rotate around the Wukong pick and get ahead early. The Wukong can really dominate the pace of the map, as opposed to, like, if they kind of leave him on his own to just kind of stay even with the Volibear. I worry, just because of how strong of a duelist the Volibear is, and how can can sustain through a lot and end up just stat checking
Mm-hmm.
champions. And Wukong's a big stat check champion too.
For sure.
But I would like to see, just especially with the Ari pick there too. Uh, I'm hoping for an aggressive outlook from Chef, and I think that would be a key to them winning.
For sure. I think, for the lineup that they have, the pick potential, especially in the early game, is there. If ZZ5 is able to land a charm into the crushing blow
Yep.
from Ziggy, you can just like kind of whittle down even some of these higher health targets if you are able to target them correctly. But now remember, this is 12.10, and 12.10 is a big test for teams to be able to coordinate their damage onto a particular target. Hardier champions mean that if you're not focusing the same champion, you could very easily see Chitin or Dilly be able to survive with less than 100 HP. I've seen it. I've only casted a couple of games in 12.10, but I've already seen it before where these squishier targets are able to, get that extra little bit of resistance to be able to get away from the gank and survive. So vision control, I think, is going to be really big for what CB Ibiza needs to do here. They need to make sure that if they are going to be roaming back and forth, Chitin is going to be the most vulnerable, because if he wants to support his side lanes, he does have to go into the jungle a little bit before he can use that unleashed power. And if he gets caught out, it's game over for him. But if he's able to stay safe, I think that CB Ibiza has the opportunity to be very impactful in these side lanes and force Chef into a really difficult split pushing composition that CB Ibiza has drafted.
Yeah, yeah. The split push from them, especially with the Scion, like, I think the Hullbreaker lifestyle isn't really there as much. It's like third item now, rather
Mm-hmm.
than rush it and sit in the side lane all game long.
For sure.
Um, I'm ready to see them go for that route anyways, but they have, I feel like, a bit strong. I mean, especially versus a Malphite that is not a champ who's going to match you in a side lane. And
Mm-hmm.
Ari into Scion, like, Ari's not going to get that much done. So the split push, the 4-1 capability of CBI is definitely better. Um, but I also think they almost have an easier to execute composition here. where if they just go into a 5v5 situation and play it front to back, where Tristana and Xerath sit just way back and let the three meat shields go in and just soak up all the attention, soak up all the cooldowns, they really just Dilly and Chitin are left just pressing buttons freely, and they don't have a lot to worry about. And it's really up to Chef to get the vision control, to get the good flanks from their mobile carries. Um, and they're going to have to put in a bit more work to get onto this back line of CB.
And even that, for CB Ibiza, if they start getting ahead, or even in the laning phase, once Singular Bread hits level 6, the potential for a dive in these side lanes is so scary here, because Dilly
Yep.
comes in with a rocket jump, can just land a bunch of damage, and then just go in and out. Arrow Cross with the depth charge and the dredge line can lock down Rivered and Frexy before they can get behind or get away. And Singular Bread, of course, with the Stormbringer, can turn off these turrets for a couple of seconds and make that gank and make that dive a very, very safe, because, like I was talking about in the pre-show, these turrets deal damage now. They are
Yeah.
mean. They are mean, and you cannot get hit by them. So I'm really looking to see how well they are able to coordinate their ultimates, especially once level 6 comes around for CB Ibiza. But we won't know until we actually get into the game. We are about 90 seconds away from getting on to Summoner's Rift here for game 1 of the Amateur Worlds Gold Tournament. Gonna be a ton of fun. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Welcome back, everybody. We are here for game 1 of Amateur Worlds. It has begun.
Oh,
we
the
are
flash hook from
starting
Nautilus.
up.
There's
Oh
the
my
root. Decimating
goodness.
smash. Oh,
Okay, first blood is on the board, and it goes over to CB Ibiza. We are beginning strong. The Church of Dilly gets their first 400.
oh my goodness. Like, you see two teams walking up like that, maybe it would have been a dance off or something, but the flash in, absolutely no respect.
Absolutely, and that's the I think that's the common play in early game now is going in at least with a flash for flash. Try to get that first flash. If you can get the hook, it might be first blood, and Aerocross does it correctly. And we're already getting into a spectator delay or a pause, unfortunately. Hopefully it isn't too crazy, but yeah, first blood going over to Dilly, going over to the Tristana, going to mean that he comes back with a longsword against Rivered.
Yeah. And just the between having Hex Flash and Glacial, like I feel like there's almost no downside to going for that play. Just cause like the Hex Flash cooldown, like you're basically flashing off cooldown anyways on these engaged
Mhm.
supports. And with Glacial, the lockdown is so potent. It's yeah, just really good call from whoever makes those calls on CB. That looked like an arrow C arrow click.
Yeah, that was definitely a very strong beginning there for Aerocross. And I think that, like, at this point, there's not an excuse not to expect it. I mean, at least for me, like, I've watched so many Nautilus games in season 12 that you have to expect that, they are going to be trying to go for that. That they're going to be
Yep.
trying to make something happen here. So you have to expect that. First blood now going over to Dilly, who, does have the flash exhaust. So that they are going flash exhaust, flash ignite for the Nautilus or Tristana. That means that they're looking to be playing very aggressively in that lane.
And I mean, if you look at the rest of the comp, Chitin is going to be able to farm fairly safely, and Kobita's on Scion up top. So you would expect the aggressive Tristan and Nautilus lane to be where we're going to see a lot of focus from Singular Bread. So that's literally the perfect start for Ibiza in this game.
Yeah, exactly. An extra 400 gold in the pocket of the Tristana, the one that does want to scale up. if you guys, if you guys have watched season 11, season 12, or just a Tristana in general, you know that a 3-item Tristana is probably one of the scariest champions in the game. The power that those grenades are going to be able to pop off, especially once you get to Kraken Slayer or Phantom Dancer, whatever items they want to go for. That explosive charge can deal a whopping amount of damage very, very quickly and very deceptively. You don't think that it's going to deal a lot of damage, but then you pop off and it becomes, half your health bar.
Yeah, you're sitting there, you hold your breath, you're just like, oh God, the bomb's gonna do it, isn't it?
The bomb. No, I can't have it happen. But hopefully we should be back into game here very shortly. It looked like Chitin did have a bit of a login issue. I know, with whenever there's a new patch, there's always something fun. I'll let you guys know that I am rocking I'm rocking my spectator without a minimap. So I have no idea where words are going to be in this game.
Oh,
I'm going to have to just look. I'm just going to have to like pray and try to figure out where things are at. It's going to be great.
huh. That's interesting. Yeah, I didn't have the scoreboard didn't show any items until I just refreshed it after that first blood. I was like, wait
Mhm.
a second.
Yep. It's definitely fun. It's definitely fun to get the beginning of a patch and seeing all the different shenanigans that having that having a new patch brings to the table. It's definitely like I'm like pressing keyboard buttons right now to see maybe if I can show up the map here, or like why is it not showing up? But um yeah, it's not happening. So yeah, it's like
Ooh.
sometimes it just doesn't load in. So we'll rock with it though. We'll make it happen. We'll make it work, like Tim Gunn says.
All right, all right. So I've got to keep my eyes out for words. That's my job this game. All right.
I'm
Keeping an
counting
eye out
on
for
you.
vision.
I'm counting on you, Jeeves. All right, really quick. So Jeeves, I gotta
Yes.
ask you because this is the first time that we've casted together. Where did you get the name Jeeves?
It's it's the only nickname people can figure out. I've got an Indian first name, and in college, they just went with Jeeves instead of figuring out how to pronounce the full Rajiv.
Interesting, interesting. So Jeeves is a play off of your birth name.
Yes.
Same, actually. Same, actually. That's how I got Moose. That's how I got Moose because one of my coworkers, my name is Thomas, and
Okay.
people started calling me Tomoose on the intercom. I used to work at a big retail store, and so I would hear Tomoose, please call 381, and I'd be like, yes, Tomoose, you answered. I said, yeah, I did because that's my name. So that's how I got the moose because it's stuck. It's cute, it's
Yeah.
what we got. It's what we got to go for. We go for cute here
Exactly.
on the stream.
I like it.
Hmm.
I gotta remember that the next time I've got a Thomas.
Do it, do it. I'm not the only moose out there, but I'm the only one that casts League of Legends. The only one that's here casting Amateur Worlds. But we are hopefully going to be getting into the game sooner rather than later. I hope that there isn't too much of a pause because yeah, we're still, at least for me, like we're still waiting. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I'm still paused here. It's not like me being the issue. It's just, an issue that we have with the client. Hopefully it's nothing too crazy. While we're waiting to get ourselves into this one, can we also get some thank yous in the chat for our producer? We got Matt, who is being our observer, being the coordinator for us, making sure that everything is running smoothly. Can we get some thank you Matts in the chat? Because without him, we wouldn't be able to make this happen.
Yeah. Absolutely fantastic job so far. He's holding it down.
Exactly. All right, so it looks like we are ready to get back into it. Just as I compliment Matt, we actually get back into the game. So, that's what we got to do here. We just got to compliment Matt every single time we want something done.
All right. I like it. We're on Tinkerbell rules for Matt.
There we go. What does that mean? What's Tinkerbell rules? Tinkerbell rules.
I
I'm a
I
boomer. I
do
don't know.
believe. Oh. Oh God, I'm probably older than you, but no, it's I do believe in producers. I do.
Oh, oh, oh! I love it. I love it. We're gonna get ourselves put in correctly. We want to make sure that our time is correctly because we're on there as well. So just really quickly, 2 minutes, 2:01, 2:02, 2:03.
Yep.
That sounds good. Okay, cool. We're there. Okay, we're there. We can talk about League of Legends again. All right. So it's been like 5 minutes. We've already got first blood. Dilly got first blood here. Comes back with a longsword and comes back as well with a vision ward. They are going to be dominating the bottom lane. You've got Hajime, who is dominating up against Kobita at the moment against the Scion. And we're looking to see who's going to be able to get the first action here as we actually get into the laning phase in the game.
I'm pretty surprised we saw the Malphite looking like they were flexing on Scion, just hitting that level 2 spike and pushing Kobita pretty hard. But they're just trading back and forth. And the big thing to note for Ibiza and just how they're playing around the map is they did get a ward onto Kitchen's blue buff. So they know exactly where Ziggy started, and that's where the bot lane can play more aggressive. And we've got the hook in onto Frexy. Singular Bread is coming in, the jump in from the Tristana, but arrow goes down, the bomb pops, there's exhaust going in onto Dilly. Singular Bread gets the rel. Now they're chasing, but Rivert is safe under turret.
Nicely done. Great 1-for-1, I would say, for both of these teams, or not even, and giving the opportunity now to try and get some sort of advantage here for Rivert and Frexy. The gold does go over to the Rel, which isn't the best, but I think overall CB Ibiza was just a little bit too quick to their guns there. Aerocross saw the dredge line play, couldn't get Singular Bread in there quickly enough, but once he was there, they were able to use a Sky Splitter and get that kill, giving a little bit more gold over to Singular Bread, who's now looking to maybe go in for a play in the river. No, he's gonna walk away.
We've got a full 3v3, it looks like, in the top river. They are fighting for this first scuttle.
Yeah, and
the flash in towards Malphite. Hajime gets out, but the flash is from Kobita and Singular Bread. Malphite's running out, and Kobita pops the shield to get the kill.
I mean, you gotta be ambitious and you've gotta be fearless if you are in the amateur world. You've got to try to make it happen, and that is exactly what we saw from Singular Bread, flashing forward with no fear, taking another kill, and helping to continue to keep the gold advantage going. It's 1,000 gold lead for CBI.
And that looked good. Like, that looked fairly even. The problem was Hajime coming from top lane. Oh, but we've got an engage and bot. The dismount from Frexy goes in. The bomb pops. The ignite goes down. And looks like they're just disengaging.
Yeah, I think that's what we're going to be expecting here. Frexy going to try to use the Hex Flash to get some good angles into the crash down. If it does land onto Dilly, the expectation is that you can still use River to get a ton of damage. But what I'm noticing right now is River is being, I think, really liberal with his mana bar, and he does need mana to be able to get that full combo off. Well, he does still deal damage with the passive and the plasma charges. If you can't drop the Acathian Rain, if you can't actually move around the fight with a supercharge, you might not get the play that you want, and we're going to see it once again.
Lands onto Frexy. There's the bomb going down. It gets charged up, but here comes Ziggy into the fight. Dilly jumps out, arrow gets the kill onto Frexy, and Dilly did manage to get out to the turret. Now Nautilus is walking back, arrow gets the shield, they go under turret. A flash out from Ziggy, but now Singular Bread is in there. Sky Splitter goes down. Rivert is firing off autos, but has no mana. Ziggy gets out with the clone, but here comes Chitin charging up the Q, dodged out. There's the W, going for it. There's the Sky Splitter from Volibear, doesn't get the shield. They are under the turret. One shot, two shots. Oh, River goes in, and ZZ5 comes in with the charm. Does have the Spirit Rush, uses 2 charges, gets the Ignite onto Dilly. River has to watch out. There's the Spirit Rush, and ZZ5 gets the kill onto Dilly. Now we've got some Alcove gaming from Chitin, and Frexy has respawned. There's the right of the Arcane Chitin trying to get Rivered, but beautiful play out of Kitchen.
The cavalry has arrived, and it comes in the form of a 9-tailed fox. ZZ5 is able to get in there despite being late to the party, despite both Chitin and Singular Bread being there. Unfortunately for CB Ibiza, they just can't get the kills that they were looking for, and towers deal more damage. Singular Bread gets chunked down to 10% due to the tower shots that he took, and at that point it was easy for Kitchen. They now have a 150 gold bounty on Rivered and ZZ5.
Yeah, the 202 Kaisa, a little bit split on the itemization, going for the Serrated Dirk and the Noon Quiver. Not 100% sure what the plan is there. I mean, the Noon Quiver is just that's the regular build, but I guess she still goes Collector, right?
On Rivered, I think that it's going to be I think it's one of those pseudo builds where you're trying to be able to get the advantages on all 3 of your upgraded abilities. So I think it's still going to be I think it's probably going to be a Kraken Slayer build, but we look like we might be getting a fight here for this first dragon. It is Ocean that is coming through. There's a lot of a lot of champions down there, but I guess not. But yeah, I think, for Rivered, being able to get that Serrated Dirk and that lethality is going to be able to melt through the health bar of Aerocross.
And importantly for this dragon fight, if they are looking to take it, Hajime no Glido up in top has teleport where Kobita doesn't. So they do have that potential advantage. It's not unleashed teleport, so it's a bit more complicated to make use of, though. Oh, the hook lands onto River. There's the dismount to go on to Dilly. This is fighting, and Frexy gets the kill. Dilly's already down. Singular Bread is coming into this. The Cyclone goes down. River goes on to a killing spree. There's double kill for River.
Man, CB Ibiza is making me eat my words, predicting them for the Game 1 winner. I am just completely shocked at the coordination that Kitchen has been able to come in with in this first game. Every single time CB Ibiza wants to make a play, Ziggy is there to provide the assistance necessary to make the play their own. Nice charm landing for ZZ5. They're getting everything that they wanted. They're getting every advantage possible, and they get the first dragon. 3,000 gold in the lead before 10 minutes. It's a really good start here for Kitchen.
3,000 gold in the lead, and it's River is sitting on 2,000 gold in their pocket right now. There's another engage from Frexy. Looks like it's just a zoning jump. Oh, but the hook comes in from Arrow. All right, that's all it is. Whew.
That's all that they wanted. That'll do, Pig. But I mean, at this point, despite the first blood that Dilly had, the 4 kills that River is currently possessing is going to allow him to unlock that Kraken Slayer. First mythic item completed at 10 minutes, along with the plated steel caps coming in for Frexy, means that they have complete control of when and where they want fights. And I really think that Aerocross is thinking as Lucky Stars that Kitchen didn't want to go for that 2v2, because even with that, Aerocross is not level 6. He does not have depth charge. So until he's able to get level 6, until he can use that ultimate, it's still going to be a commanding game for Frexy and Rivered in the bottom lane.
Frexy keeps going for the same play, hex flashing over from the Tribush, and it's one of the things I love most about hex flash. Just the basically 0 cooldown. People just spam it and mess with each other. Oh, there's a hook onto Frexy. Singular Bread is here. The jump out from Frexy though. Safe.
Gotta stay safe, and it's a little unfortunate that Singular Bread did not get the play that he was looking for. He made his presence known, which now signals to Hajime ZZ5 that Ziggy can come in and not have any jungle presence come through. So we're looking to see what macro play Kitchen can go with knowing that Singular Bread was just bottom side.
And it looks like the call is the Rift Herald. I think that's obviously a super good play. Get them some plates, get them a bit ahead on the map, get them some more gold.
100%. And
Oh,
it just continues to be, what Kitchen is able to do with all the advantages that they have. You've got a CS advantage for Ziggy. The gold, if you want to take a look at that really quick, the gold is, despite the advantages that Ziggy has in terms of assists, it is still a gold lead for Singular Bread. You still get that play, but we got to play from Arrow, though.
oh, 3 people in mid. Single Bread is tanking tower shots. There's the Stormbringer, but the tower damage is super hard. But the Right of the Arcane does take out ZZ5.
Nicely done from Chitin. Gonna be able to be precision artillery for CB Ibiza. ZZ5 goes down. That is shut down gold over to Chitin and 2 stacks on that Dark Seal. It's going to allow that momentum for CB Ibiza that they have been lacking for the last couple of minutes. They're now only 2,000 gold behind, and this is definitely a doable position for them to be in.
Yeah, that literally everywhere on the map other than bot lane, they should be good to take fights. The 2,000 gold difference is literally just Rivered versus Dilly right now with how these fights have been going.
Exactly. And the way that it has happened, it looks like, it just continues to be like macro advantages for Kitchen in terms of not only being able to get the Rift Herald, but they also have just control of these lanes. And with Ziggy in the bottom lane, they might be looking to be able to drop the Rift Herald here, get that first turret damage and first turret gold into River's pocket.
Ooh, yeah, this is going to be turret down at just 13 minutes. Oh, there's the whole fight brewing. Singular Bread coming in. Frexy mounts out. ZZ5 is the first one here. Chitin's in the river. There's the Magnet Storm pulling in Singular Bread. Frexy gets that kill. Dilly goes down to Rivered on the back end. Now Arrow Cross gets taken out, and Chitin is in the river running for his life. There's the Spirit Rush going down. There's the second charge. Third charge comes out. Where's the charm? The charm is dodged. Now Chitin's in the Krug's camp. They're looking for it.
Run away!
The Kong comes over the wall.
Run
Let's go for
away!
it. He's dodging out.
Oh, so close.
Ziggy has to smite the Krugs to stay alive.
What a phenomenal performance from Kitchen here in game 1. Rivered going for the jugular. The moment that he's able to get to the backline with that killer instinct, he pops the ultimate and is able to drop down Dilly. They take down 4 in that play. They get the second headbutt charge on the Shelly. That is an and 1 for that first Rift Herald. They get maximum value. They then translate that into the Dragon, and they have complete control of this early game, and maybe just complete control of game 1 here.
Ooh, and you were right. It is an Infernal Rift.
I'm right. Okay. The winning lottery numbers are 7, 14, 21, 28, and 35. With the power number of 42. Trust me. Just go for them. Multiples of 7. Man, but this is, with the Infernal Rift now, that means that if it does get to a soul point opportunity here, which, in all actuality, this game, if it continues on the momentum that Kitchen has gone for, CB Ibiza might not be able to see the Infernal Soul, but this is really, really good for ZZ5 and Rivered because now you're able to get that massive damage that you have and pop it into this backline even further with that AoE burst.
And yeah, so far they've had relatively little trouble. The fights have been kind of disjointed for CB. Like, they haven't played them, like, straight up front to back. There's always been just very, almost easy backline access for the Kitchen squad. And they've just been managing to take out Dilly early in these fights and claiming that win.
Yeah, and I think that that's just the power of this lineup that they've drafted is you do have so many options to be able to get into the backline. ZZ5 with the Spirit Rush, Rivered with the Killer Instinct. You've seen, we haven't yet seen it, but Hajime can just come in with an unstoppable force and is able to get to Chitin and Dilly. so that all of that CC and that damage is going to stick. And I think that that's something that CB Ibiza has yet to be able to counter. They are the ones that maybe even want to dive in to get to the backline first, but because Kitchen has been in the lead for a majority of this game, they've been the one that's been able to dictate when and where these fights are happening.
And something you brought up earlier in the cast, the push potential for CBI. I'm just seeing up in top the tower health difference, even though he hasn't gone Hullbreaker at all, just with the natural pushing power. And I think it's something with just the modernity of Scion's kit since he got reworked. He's been able to push in the turret, and it's almost dead in top. Oh wow, I didn't even notice there are objective bounties. But here comes ZZ5 going for the assassination onto Chitin, who literally hit S. Waited. I don't know if that was a disconnect or just this is done.
I have to think that that was an overplay. ZZ5 had him in the bag. Being able to avoid the stun via Chitin's E meant that he was going to win that fight regardless. And we're just seeing, I think, the wallets being dropped here.
Yep.
For Kitchen against CBI. They get to pick up another neutral objective. That is all for neutral objectives taken by Kitchen at the beginning of this game. ZZ5 unlocks a tower solo, and we'll have to see if he can get out of this.
Oh, gets the Everfrost double flashes in. Teleport is coming in, but I don't know if you want that teleport, Hajime. But in the meanwhile, Rivert is trying to 1v1 Kobita, who's got a 3-level advantage, but Rivert is just so bonkers strong.
Unfortunate there. Really, really unfortunate, I think, for CB Ibiza. They did not expect all of the early game ganks. And I really we have to go back to that first play that I think really cemented Kitchen into a massive lead, and it was that failed gank by Singular Bread. They end up costing so much power there for CB Ibiza that now they are just completely behind the 8-ball. It's a team that needed to get ahead and capitalize on the early power of the Nautilus and the Volibear. They don't get it. And what's crazy is that Shelly not only gets the and 1 with the headbutt into the inner tower, but he gets an and 2 with the inhibitor headbutt as well. Massive value out of both Rift Heralds, and that is exactly what you want to see from a team that is looking to potentially go all the way in Amateur Worlds.
Oh my god. And we have no downtime whatsoever, because all 10 players are converging on this Infernal Drake that's spawning in 10 seconds.
Yeah, take a look at the vision control right now for CB Ibiza. They do have some river wards, but river control is right here for Kitchen. They know exactly where their wards are at, and now they get to decide when and where they want to go for this team fight.
Bird is a little bit split off, but the rest of the team is already on this dragon, and yeah, CB can't contest. They're going for this mid lane objective bounty first.
I like it. I like the play. They know that they can't go into the river. You're just gonna get one shot into your back line. So they decide to back off. They take what they can get. They get an objective bounty, and they run. And I think that that's a smart move, because now you're still alive to potentially defend this mid lane tower.
And it looks like Chitin's the only one there, so they are even just sacking that turret.
Yeah, I mean, you gotta expect that you do have to give up a little bit here, but where is the fight going to happen? Where is CB Ibiza going to make their stand? I mean, they could do it in 5 minutes with the Infernal Drake spawns. They could fight at Baron, but they've got to try to continue to find whatever control they can. They get another objective bounty. So, they are getting gold across the Rift, but being behind by a 6,000 gold mark at the 21-minute mark, it's really, really difficult. There is the potential just for Kitchen to drop the wallet if they go into these team fights, but if you don't capitalize on any small advantage that you could potentially get, it could just still be GG anyways for CB Ibiza. So, I mean, I think that they've got to make their stand soon. I don't think that they can make their fight at the Dragon. I think that they need to be looking to maybe find a play, in the next couple of minutes in one of these choke points.
And we haven't even seen the full 5v5. Like, Kobita and Hajime no Gildo, like haven't been involved at all. So we have that component of the kitchen wombo combo, the unstoppable force, hasn't even been felt. And to be fair, Kobita, this gigantic meat wall, has also not been involved, but that Phage kind of tells me we're going to see a second item, Hull Breaker, coming out of Scion, so we're probably not going to see him in team fights for a while. But yeah, there's so much that, and that's such like a power spike for Kitchen, and yeah, they're just starting this Baron.
I think, you know, they realize that they can just dictate when and where they want to go for these fights. So the teleport is now coming in. Let's see if they're going to be able to make something happen.
Oh, perfectly timed knockup onto Kobita, and he is trying
to
run
my
out there.
God!
The storm onto 3. Now, ZZ5 is trying to assassinate Dilly, but he is not getting out. River gets 2 kills. Singular Bread goes down. Kobita goes down. There's a triple.
It's
now
a pentakill.
Going on to Arrow. Under turret, the flash out, there's the hook.
It's
River
a pentakill!
The pentakill for River as they die under the turret.
Oh my God, I called it, I knew it, and I saw it. Pentakill comes in for Kitchen and for River. Such a phenomenal performance here from this squad. And you have to look back at that teleport coming in from Kobita. He just gets singled out and targeted by going in for such an aggressive teleport in the river. Once you do that, you initiate into that fight. Your front line is now completely dead. River is able to then get into the back line with a beautiful killer instinct. Sacrifices, you know, a ton of gold, a shutdown to go for that pentakill, gets it, which is phenomenal. But now we are not over yet. Actually, nicely done from CBI Ibiza. They make Kitchen back off of Baron, but it's still a pentakill for River. He now has 4 items unlocked. What a play.
Yeah, really good call to go straight to the Baron because River was the one to die. So that was going to be a very slow Baron from the remaining 4 members of Kitchen. So that is a plus for Ibiza, and they kind of have to take any they can get after that team fight.
Oh boy. Now, you know, we look at this right now, and I gotta tell you, Jeeves, it's not looking good here in game 1 for CB Ibiza. The 7,000 gold advantage is manageable, but the 12-1 Kaisa, I don't think is. I think that they could just go in for whatever fight they're looking for, and it's just going to be super difficult.
Yeah, no, I suspect we're going to see them go right back to, well, I don't even think a Baron play is it, because the Dragon's coming up in 30 seconds, and yeah, Kobita has to Scion ult out of the fight. That feels so bad when they need that to be a big engage into the fight.
Yeah, and now take a look at it. Once again, river control right now for Kitchen, and this is a fight that CB Ibiza has to go for. They cannot give up Infernal Soul, so let's see how it plays out.
Oh, we've got a really good flank from River onto Dilly. There's the stack. There's the Killer Instinct. Cyclone comes out. Dilly is alive. River goes down. Cyclone charge number 2. ZZ5 takes out Dilly on the back line, but Chitin's still alive. Chitin takes out Ziggy, and this fight is going well for Ibiza. ZZ5 is still alive, though, and that's the shutdown onto Frexy, and yeah, that's a 4 for 3.
Wow, super over ambitious from Kitchen. Rivered saying, okay, I got the pentakill. I'm feeling great. Let me try to go in for another sick play. And goes in for the Killer Instinct against Dilly, but the collapse to protect their ADC was there for CB Ibiza. And Dilly is able to get a ton of damage in before going down. ZZ5 does get a couple of nice kills themselves, but the big story there, the big development, is that Kitchen was not able to get the dragon. And had they gotten Dragon Soul, it might have been a completely different outcome.
He is still hanging around here. He is getting pinged out. The charm, but
okay.
Oh god, and a teleport in from Hajime. They are going after Kobita, but he's so tanky, and that's both top laners dead right before the fight starts.
Yeah, now dead before the fight starts. Exactly. No unstoppable force used. It's still a 4v4, but River now doesn't have to deal with Kobita in this next play. Let's see if they're going to be able to make it happen.
Dilly is on the dragon, but ZZ5's on the back line. As a flank, the
Oh, the
hook goes
field goal.
wide. There's the engage from Frexy, goes wide. But now the Cyclone goes in. There's the Killer Instinct arrow, goes down. Dilly goes down. Singular Bread is on the dragon trying to save it, but no. His Dragon Soul goes down. Fight goes to the kitchen. And Moose, we cooking tonight.
Yes, we are. It is Raptors and Dragons on the menu here. Infernal Soul turning the heat up to 500 degrees Fahrenheit. CB Ibiza just unfortunately not able to get the plays that they were looking for. It looks like they might get one more chance as ZZ5. Oh! Okay, so they don't actually end the game here, but they do get Baron, they do get Infernal Soul, and they're still in a 7,000 gold advantage. The big development is that they do get the Infernal Soul. The extra burst damage from that is massive, and that fight just worked out so much better for Kitchen because Kobita was not there. He's so impactful with the knockups, with the CC that he can provide, and without any frontline, the entire squad of CB Ibiza just collapses.
Yeah, and Kobita actually built a Knight's Vow. That's how all in on just defending Dilly and Chitin they are. I can't see who was designated as the target for that, but I'm gonna assume Dilly, with Tristana being the more consistent damage output. But that's actually kind of wild to me.
Yeah, I mean, you're going in for some support items. You can tell at that point that something is wrong. Like, that's not what you want to see off of your tank support or your tank top laner, who wants to try to go in for these split pushing potentials, but you can't split push when you're so far behind like this. So, it was a call to make. They're gonna see it happen, and now they need to essentially defend this Nexus as we got all 5 members of Kitchen in the mid lane.
Ooh. Yeah, a full NA RAM going on right here. It's like top lane is pushing for Ibiza, it looks like, while bot lane's pushing for Kitchen. It's kind of even. The wave clear from Ibiza is holding off this. And the short range with Rivert as the AD carry, it's not the greatest of siege comps for Kitchen here.
No, and they're going to be able to defend it. I think that CB Ibiza knows that. So we're not seeing a 1-3-1 come in, and Kitchen is trying to lure out CB Ibiza from under tower to try to go in for a 5v5, but they're just not going to get it. They're not going to get it, and if they want to make something happen here, they got to pull the trigger, and they do.
Singular Bread just gets charmed and picked, and there's the Magnet Storm onto 3, the Unstoppable Force. Chitin's already down. Dilly gets assassinated on the backside, and this is a 4v5 that Kitchen is just absolutely running away with. Ziggy was
another
split pushing
quadra
top.
kill. Woo-hoo-hoo! There it is. There it is. Kitchen got what they wanted. ZZ5 finds the charm, and at the sacrificial altar of Frexy, Rivered gonna be able to end game 1 with a quadra kill. What a start! 2 worlds for us, a pentakill and a quadra kill for Rivered. It's such a great start here for Kitchen and a great end to the game.
Yeah, absolutely massive. Like, taking down people we're talking about was... Huh? Oh, yeah. Taking down who was being discussed as a tournament favorite already, and in such a dominating way. Absolutely fantastic from Kitchen. Love to see it.
Oh yeah, 100%. Really, really quite phenomenal play coming in from Kitchen, and it started off so scary for them because you had the beginning of the fight and the beginning of the game going in for first blood over to Dilly. That is exactly what you want from your ADC to get that extra 400 gold, but the ganks It was the jungle diff in the early game that it really solidified it for me. That roam down that ZZ5 was able to get up against Chitin, was able to arrive, able to find the play with the Spirit Rush, was able to get both ZZ5 and River at a 2-0 point, massively in the lead against their lane opponent. At one point, River was over 4,000 gold in the lead against Dilly. That
Ooh.
is how you want to see your ADC show up. And they were able to do that in game one, and they take their first win out of group stage. They're now further ahead, and they're looking to be able to continue to keep this momentum going into game two.
And if I remember right, we have them again for game two, right?
Exactly.
Oh, I am really psyched to see if they can keep this momentum going.
I don't know. I don't know because it's something that we've got to think about. We've got to see, what can Chef bring to the table here? What can they do as we move into game two? But before we do that, I want to bring Redacted back in here. I want to know what he has to say about this series. I mean, we got a pentakill and a quadra-kill in our first game, Redacted. What a start.
What a start indeed. And hey, so far, host is the better predictor. Casters don't know nothing, right?
Nope.
Am I right?
Nope.
Nope.
Nope, you're right.
Yep.
No.
100%.
But on a serious note, though, no, I'm really glad that Team Kitchen won. I'm glad my prediction was right, and that was quite um that was quite a stomp. Like, just being quite honest, it was quite a stomp.
Yeah.
Not exactly what we all expected. But it does happen in league from time to time. So hopefully for team CB Ibiza, they just take this loss. They don't take it too hard. They do have another game. They have two more games today, so it's just wipe that L off your off your mind, forget about it, and just go into your next two with a fresh mental and whatnot, and try and win those. But yeah, for Team Kitchen though, meme to dream. I'm gonna keep saying that because they're my team now. I feel like I've adopted them low key. So like they're like my little sons, my children that I'm rooting for. Like, yeah, you go underdog. Who doesn't like an underdog story? But I'm really happy they won that game in a quite a dominating fashion as they did. And I'm sure some other teams will be looking at this team like, okay, they're these are some picks we might not want to give them, things like that, and things to look out for. But we'll have to see how the rest of the group progresses, as we do have two more games today. Our next game being um once again Team Kitchen actually against TD Aftermath. That will be our next game here that we will be showing. But before we get into that, I wanted to ask you guys a bit more of like, what do you think went wrong for CB Ibiza versus what went really right for Team Kitchen?
The coordination on the early ganks, the map rotations for Kitchen were
Hmm.
so good. Like it looked like a 3v3, and so CBI felt comfortable going into that with Dilly being 1 and 0, Singular Bread coming in, Arrow being there getting the hook, but then ZZ5 being on site before Chitin consistently, and that's just, I
Hmm.
mean, the Xerath gameplay, you expect to be farther away. He's going to come in and contribute with Right of the Arcane. But the impact that ZZ5 had on these bot lanes, turning them into a
Yeah.
4v3 rather than a 3v3, absolutely massive and completely just destroyed CBI's whole game plan.
Agreed. I think that the ability for Rivered and for ZZ5 to get to the backline so consistently that they were able to
Hmm.
was just phenomenal. And when you get into the team fight stage, Rexy and Hajime were so on point with their
Yep.
Magnet Storm into the Unstoppable Force. We saw multiple multi-man knockups from Hajime that resulted in the pentakill that Rivered was able to get, and was start of the or was a follow-up to the charm that ZZ5 was able to get into that final team fight that resulted in the final push to be able to take game one. So coordination was there, the communication was there, and overall, it just felt like Kitchen just played as a far more cohesive unit.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, my fault. Jeez.
No, I was
Go
just
ahead.
agreeing. All
Okay, got you,
yours.
got you. Okay, yeah, definitely. Like it definitely showed that they've been practicing and had really clear cut communication and whatnot. And yeah, they got the dub based off that. And now they're heading into their next their next match. Sorry, their next match with a win on their belt against TD Aftermath, who just lost to Mint Gaming Rocky Road. MGRR. I'm just gonna keep calling them that from now on with their acronym because. But yeah, they just lost to them. So if Team Kitchen wins this next match as well, they will be up 2-0 so far in the group on this day, and that will just put TDA 0-2, and who we'll see how CB Ibiza against Mitt Gaming uh, turn out because they are our other match as well, but it will not be streamed. But in the meantime, while we're prepping for those games, we're gonna cut to a short break as we prepare for those games. Don't go anywhere. We will be right back.
Everybody, panic!